I'm going to do 3 breaths here. Actually, there's another little warm up, which is nice with this one. And let's see, I start with the head first. Yeah. So, oh, it was yesterday. Okay, so that's soon. Sweet. Good, good, good. So this little trick is a nice little alignment thing, and you're just using your breath and the sense of touch. So, and it helps put you right back where you need to be. So I'm going to interlace my fingers. I'm going to place them in the base of the skull. I'm going to gently press the palms into the back of my head, the back of my head into my palms. And my elbows aren't really flared out. I actually want them to reach forward a little bit. So it helps lift up that spine a little bit more. There's the kitty cat. I was wondering if she's going to join me today. So I'm a little bit more chill. So I'm going to take a deep inhale here. Just have that little bit of alignment here. Sometimes the shoulder blades shift a little bit, and they just did on my right side, so that's nice. I'm going to do one more breath here and then involve this breath a little bit more. So I'm going to inhale to the back of my head here. I'm going to exhale, wrap around my fingers or my palm here to the front. I'm going to inhale and imagine like my hands are translating into the middle of my skull. I'm using my imagination, of course. I'll inhale the hands in the middle of my skull. And then I'll exhale the hands to the lap. And I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to inhale, hands to the back of the head. Exhale, wrap around. Inhale the hands into the middle of the skull. And exhale, hands to the lap. And I'm going to do that a third time, and I'm going to do the same thing, but on the pelvis. So inhale, hands to the back of the head. Wrap around. Inhale. And exhale, hands to the lap. All right. And if you guys want to follow along, you can. I'm not doing anything crazy. I do have a blanket, which I will definitely use at the end for the Shavasana. I have a strap here. You can use, I may or may not use a strap, we'll see. But if you have a yoga strap, that's helpful. Not entirely necessary for what I'm going to do today. I have a bolster, which is just really a thick pillow. If you have a pillow or two, or even honestly, if you have like some blankets or towels, you can double them up into this similar shape and width. And you can use that as a bolster as well. I've definitely done that before. But definitely something you can follow along. Again, not going crazy. So I'm going to do the same thing, but now on the pelvis. So they say that there's a diaphragm of the head, and of course you got the diaphragm here. But the base of the skull and the pelvis, or as the sacrum, are a little bit connected. So I'm going to place the hands on the sacrum, and I'm going to inhale here. And I'm going to do that same wrap around the pelvis and then connect the prayer hands in the front. Let's see, that was the inhale, exhale around. Inhale, that same translation as if my hands are going into my body, so towards the spine. That's the inhale here. And then I'm actually going to exhale the hands back up to the chest. So a little bit of a different technique here. I love this one, to be honest, especially when my low back is tight. This one helps align it a little bit better. And all I'm doing is just sense of touch and breathing. It's amazing. It's like your body has its own sense of intelligence. So again, I'm going to inhale here. Base of the sacrum. I'm going to wrap around the hips to the front. Prayer hands in the front. That's an exhale. Inhale the hands into the pelvis. Exhale the hands up to the chest. So I'm going to do 2 more rounds. I do have a little bit of low back tightness, and to be honest, I lost count because I can't keep count. So I'm going to inhale to the pelvis again. I like to close the eyes so I can focus on the internal experience. Exhale around the hips. Prayer hands. Inhale, prayer hands towards the spine. Exhale, hands up to the chest. Oh my gosh, this just feels so amazing. Okay, one more. Inhale, hands to the hips. Sacrum. Exhale, hands around the pelvis. Inhale the hands into the pelvis. Exhale the hands back to the chest. All right, from here. So that's kind of nice little alignment. Helps kind of calm it down a little bit more. And again, I'm just breathing. If I don't want to think too hard about it, that's a nice routine to do. Just focus on the breath and sense of touch. From here, I'm going to work on my upper body a little bit. Interlace my fingers, reach the palms forward and up with an inhale. And then we exhale to the right, to my right, excuse me. Inhale back up. Make sure the sit bones are still on the block. Exhale to the left. Inhale back up. Exhale, circle sweep the arms down. I'm not directly by the sides. I'm actually pulling forward just slightly. And it helps tug on all the skin around those shoulder blades. So it's a nice little warm up there. And then I'm going to do that again, but I'm going to interlace the fingers the opposite way. Feels a little wonky, but nice little information for the nervous system. Playing the brain game a little bit. Exhale to the right. Inhale up. And to the left. Inhale up. Circle sweeping the arms down again. This time I'm going to interlace my fingers behind me. Reach the knuckles down. So I'm seeing if I can get my palms as close together as possible with the arms straight. And opening up the chest again with that inhale. Exhale. Aurora Jester, those are really good questions, by the way. I can totally nerd out on this stuff. Like, it's so cool. Yoga is one of those things that is controversial in the Christian realm of things. And I myself am a Christian. But it's cool that there's so much physiology tied to exercise, period. But yoga tends to talk a little bit more about the mind-body connection and that physiological experience. I'm trying to put this behind me. So that's been really fun to learn. And I'm thankful that I had an instructor that blended both worlds. And sometimes yoga can also get like the instruction can get a little flowery, like really poetic. Like, open up your chest like a lotus flower. Like, I don't know what that means. Like that doesn't connect to my brain very well. But I'm a very literal brain person sometimes. Sometimes it works for the people that are more poetic than I am. Nothing wrong with that. But I just really appreciated the way that I learned about yoga in this way. And it's been extremely helpful. It's been nice for my nerdy brain to geek out on some of that stuff. There's history tied with it. There's philosophy tied with it. I guess religion tied with it, if you really want to go that far, but you don't have to. That's the other nice thing for it. So I'm going to do this staff pose here. This is where the strap can be helpful. I'm going to take this blanket. Actually, I'll do that in just a moment. But yoga has been the most difficult thing for my brain to wrap around just because everything else I've done in my life, I started with more cardio, cross country, swimming, track, very fast paced, go, go, go. Weightlifting, again, shorter term, sometimes it's fast, sometimes it's slow. Yoga is you're going to sit there and you're going to sit with it. You're going to sit with it some more and some more. And some more. So it's been more mentally challenging than anything, but I have really fallen in love with it for sure. Yeah, Aurora, especially like the centering and the discipline, like the discipline to stay, even when you're uncomfortable. I think that was the hardest part for yoga for me is, yes, this pose is challenging. Actually, this staff pose is challenging for me. But staying in the pose, even though it's challenging, and just kind of watching your mind flutter around, like saying like, oh, this is challenging. Oh, my quads are burning. I need to spread my toes some more. Oh, I need to do, just, it's like it flits around until the longer you sit, the kind of yoga that I learned, the longer you sit, the more your mind starts to settle down because you develop that discipline to stay. So really good point there about yoga. The tendency for me for this one, and I can already feel it, is like the muscles of the groins, like really high up towards the pubic bone, the pubic symphysis, tend to tighten up. And I would rather them not. And so what I'm going to do to help out with that is I'm going to take the strap off. I'm going to go into a bound ankle pose. So I'm going to bring the knees into the chest as much as I can, and then allow the feet to fall out to the side. So just for ankle comfort, I can take this blanket, fold it up, and this is why I should have done it in the first place. There you go. So staff pose, That's where I'm supposed to be. Bring the heels on that lip of the blanket and then allow the knees to fall out to the side. So my toes are on the blanket, but my heels are kind of lifted up. So instead of being completely flat, which kind of torques the ankle a little bit, I'm gonna level it up. And it's just more comfortable. All right, so I got the feet sealed together, and to help adjust this one a little bit more, now I'm stretching out all those adductor muscles. I'm gonna walk the hands forward a little bit. I'm reaching through the tops of my thighs here. It's like they're reaching out and down a little bit as I'm continuing to put pressure on the feet, especially the heels. I have the spine straight here. So I'm not arching the spine forward. I want to lift up the chest. My sit bones are reaching backwards. It's almost like a cow back in a way. Airing more to the cow back than the cat back. And here I can just breathe a little bit. Yes, it is a big stretch on the adductors. And for those just chiming in, I am sitting on a block. You don't have to sit on the floor for this, especially if like the knees are way up here. Add some height. So add a block, maybe two, and that will help free up the hips a little bit more for this. And if you are higher up, you can take a block instead of the hands on the floor. You can put the hands on another block here. Oh, so I'm on the front of the sit bones here. I want to maintain that as I gently walk up, still keeping the height of the spine, and doing an inhale there is really helpful, but I was talking, so. All right, so from here, where's my bolster? I'm gonna do a couple twists. Again, my low back's a little tighter today, so I'm gonna use this bolster to help out a little bit. I'm gonna take a deep inhale up, exhale forward, fold a little bit, and I'm going to gently twist. I'm gonna brace my elbow on my bolster. I can actually rest my head on my hand, and I can take this opposite hand and put the hand on the hip, and I'm just going to gently open up the chest towards the ceiling. I'm pressing this elbow down into the bolster. That's going to help the twist. And just support the head as much as I need. Keep it calm. Keep the face calm, the eyes soft. Little detail, but it helps. And I want to keep reaching through this thigh and make sure that sit bone still stays on the block. I'm just going to rest here for a little bit. Make sure I get 3 good quality breath cycles. My goodness, this feels amazing. I'm going to do 4. Feels nice. When I come out of this twist, you want to inhale. It's almost like you're inflating the spine up, so it's a little bit easier to come out. And then I'm just going to repeat the same thing on the other side. I'm going to inhale back up. Reach this arm forward as I twist. Gently rest it on the bolster. Head towards the hand. This hand here can come to the hip. And then I'm just gently pressing that upper arm into the bolster as I open up. This side's a little tighter. But I'm just going to go as far as I can. Just very gentle. This is good for calming the nervous system. Even though I'm pushing the limits a little bit, I still want to see if I can maintain the calm even in the midst of tension. And this is one of the reasons why yoga is really nice, why exercise, period, no matter what form that you're doing, yoga, cardio, weightlifting, trying to find the calm even in the midst of the challenge is where the brain health really helps, especially for stress, anxiety, because you can take those same tools that you're using in the gym and apply it to real life, everyday life. Other stressful moments. If you can prove to yourself that you can calm yourself down even in the midst of a challenge physically, you can do the same thing even in another moment at work, with your relationships, in an argument. The calmer you are, the clearer you think. And that's one of the huge benefits of exercise that is not talked about as often, at least on social media, because it doesn't sell. Being very blunt about that. Even though this is one of the number 1 reasons why I work out. All right, so this is the fun part for this one. My legs have been wide for a while. I'm going to take the legs, I'm going to use the strength of the arms to fold them back in. And I like to hug the knees in. And since those muscles have been stretched out, when I release them back down, it just goes bleh. It just drops back down. It just feels so, so good. So I like to sit here for a little bit and just enjoy just like those muscles just melting away. Again, I know it's a more intimate area there by the pelvis, but those muscles get really, really tight. This is for men and women. That's your pelvic floor area. Those pelvic floor muscles are crazy important. And being able to tone them and relax them at the right times is extremely important for men and for women. They talk about for women more because, they have babies and things stretch out and all that jazz. But I think there's not as much research for men, but I do wonder, I have no evidence of this because I can't find any, but I do wonder if for some men, like the getting up at night and peeing multiple times kind of thing, yes, there's the prostate thing, but I do wonder sometimes if that is also something going on with the pelvic floor, because women have kind of that same symptom sometimes, like it's too lax. So I just wonder if that's sometimes not a prostate issue, but it's more of a pelvic floor issue. Personal curiosity. Yes. All right, so I had that staff pose. That's the opposing, what's it called, pose for that Baddha Konasana, that bound ankle pose. So I'm gonna take this blanket, I'm gonna put it to the side for now. All right, and this is where we build up a little bit of heat. I'm gonna do like a sun salutation. There's like an A, B, C. I don't know which one it is. I'm not gonna lie. It's one of the versions of sun salutation. All right, so I'm going to start with my Tadasana, my standing mountain pose. So I have the feet separate a little bit. You can have the feet completely together as well, but since my back's a little tighter, I'm going to separate the feet a little bit. I'm going to spread the toes out, make sure I have the feet evenly distributed, or the weight evenly distributed on the feet. I'm going to turn the palms forward, so I'm really spinning the upper arm forward, open up the chest, reaching down through the heels, bring the palms a little closer to the side. Doing a couple of breaths here, releasing the skin of the shoulders. It was a little tight there, so I get to release that a little bit. Making sure my pelvis is even. So that's why I was doing some of those warm-ups, because it helps even out the pelvis instead of me being super tight low back. I want to do those things to help calm it down, so actually my abs get to take over a little bit more instead of putting it all on my low back, my spinal erectors. So what I've learned, what my instructor kept saying to me, is that every time that you go through a pose, it makes this one better. The goal is to make your Tadasana better. All right, from here I got up my prayer hands again. I'm going to take a deep inhale. I'm going to do a little bit slower this first time around. And then exhale, forward fold. I'm going to fold all the way over. I'm going to inhale to a flat back. I just realized I'm on the opposite end of the mat, so I'll just go into another forward fold because it feels amazing anyway. Prayer hands together, inhale up, and back to the start. All right, so I should be over here actually. I'm supposed to step backwards. Whoops. Or maybe it was just an excuse to do it again because that forward fold feels really amazing today. Okay, so same deal. Inhale up, exhale down. Inhale to flat back. Exhale, I'm going to bend my knees, have the hands flat here. I'm going to step the right foot back, reach through that heel. Oh, man, that feels really good on that hip flexor. Keep reaching through the heel as I set the knee down, top of the foot down. I'm going to inhale the chest up. I'm going to exhale into my plank. This is where I can do the chaturanga. I'm going to set the knees down for this version, but keep the balls of the feet on the floor, lowering down. It's really chin, chest, butt stays high. Then I'll scoop forward. Exhale my feet down. Pressing the tops of the feet, pubic bone down. Inhale up. To my up dog. Tuck the toes into the down dog. I'll inhale up, look at my hands. I'm going to step the right foot forward, reach through that heel as I set the knee down, top of the foot down, inhale, chest up. Then I'll tuck the toes, press back into my forward fold. Prayer hands, inhale all the way up, and back down to the start. So with this sun salutation, that is actually half of a set. So the other half, I'm just going to do the same thing, but starting with the opposite foot. So I'll take the inhale up, exhale, forward fold. Inhale to flat back. Exhale, put the hands on the floor. Step the left foot back first this time. Reach through the heel as I set the knee down, then the top of the foot down, lifting the chest up. With an inhale. Exhale, tuck the toes, step the foot back into my plank. Inhale here. And then exhale, knees, chest, chin. Not a push-up. Inhale the belly to the floor, tops the feet on the ground. It's an exhale. When your inhale comes, lift up to that up dog. Shoulders away from the ears. I see this a lot, even in pictures of like professionals. Shoulders away from the ears. Roll the elbow pits forward, tuck the back toes. Inhale to your down dog. Eyes up. Stepping the left foot forward. Reaching through that heel as you set the knee down, top of the foot down. Inhale, chest up. Tuck the back toes. Exhale, back to forward fold. Hands together. Inhale all the way up. When the inhale comes, and hands back to the chest. I'm going to get a little bit more crazy with it. So this is where I have to remember the transitions. This is where I'm going to transition into a warrior 2 stance. This is where my blocks are kind of handy. Well, not for warrior 2, but for the other poses I can go from there. So I got my prayer hands again. I'm going to take my inhale up. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale to a flat back. Exhale, bend the knees. I'm going to step my right foot back into my lunge here. I'm going to inhale the chest up. Not putting the knee on the ground this time. This time I'm actually going to spin the back heel down, and it's happening up here at the top of the thigh. It's not happening at my foot. It's actually my top of the thigh is spinning down. I'm grounding down through that outer heel point. I'm going to take this top hand, reach up and around. Keep this deep bend in this front knee into your warrior 2. I'm going to gaze over this front hand. Take a couple direct breaths here. Sometimes I can bend that back knee, make sure my pelvis is in the right spot. Need to make a little adjustment there. I'm going to do 3 breaths here. From here, I'm going to circle sweep the arms back down. Step back into my plank. Take a deep inhale here. Knees, chest, chin. Let's exhale down. Inhale to the belly. Exhale, tops the feet to the ground. Inhale into up dog. Oh my goodness. Exhale into down dog. Inhale up to the hands. Look up at the hands, excuse me. Step the right foot forward. Lift up the chest with that inhale. I'm going to spin again at the top of the thigh, grounding that outer heel. There we go. I'm going to take this hand the same side as that back leg. Inhale up and around, still keeping that bend in the knee. Oh, you can hear me nicely. Thank you. Thank you, Aurora. I appreciate that. Good feedback. So warrior 2 on this side. I'm going to take 3 deep breaths. Bend that knee, adjust my hips a little bit. They're a little cockeyed. There we go. Taking the time with the breath. The inhale puts the body where it wants to be. The exhale, you hold that. Release the skin of the shoulders. 1 more breath. To come out, I'm going to circle sweep the arms back down. But this time, instead of going into a plank, I'm going to push forward into my forward fold again. Prayer hands, inhale all the way up. And exhale, hands to the chest. Oh, that felt nice. All right. So again, that's only half a set. So we got to do the second half of the set. This time I'll be stepping my left foot back. And the other thing about this is wait for the breath. Don't go just because you think you should. Make sure it's the timing of the breath. So I'm going to wait for an inhale. So here's my inhale. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale the chest up. Exhale, stepping the left foot back. Inhale the chest up. Exhale, I'm going to spin that heel down again at the top of the thigh. Inhale, I'm going to circle sweep the arms up, keep this leg low. To warrior two. My 3 breaths here. Circle sweep the arms down. Spin that heel out so you can step into your plank. Inhale here. Exhale, knees, chest, chin. Inhale, belly to the floor. Exhale, top of the feet to the floor. Inhale, up dog. Exhale, nope, sorry, yeah. Exhale, yeah, down dog. Inhale, look up at the hands. This time, stepping the left foot forward. Right heel stays back. Inhale the chest up. Exhale, spinning that heel down. Inhale, circling the arms up. Warrior two. I'm going to adjust my pelvis a little bit. Make any adjustments you need along the way. If you need an extra breath cycle in there to make that happen, those adjustments before moving on to the next step, that's okay as well. It is your practice, not anybody else's. All right, circle sweeping the arms down. This time I'm ending up this set, so back to feet close together. Forward fold. Inhale, hands up. Exhale to the chest. All right, stop there for now. So I've got about 15 minutes. I want to do this warrior stretch here. So Banana, hi kitty cat, you're back. Banana actually did this one, or he posted his yoga routine online on the Discord. So go check that out. Go check out the Discord, guys. Again, you can click on the link on the panel in the About section on my channel. I'll take you to the Discord. All sorts of categories on there. We have a good time. Anyway, he put the Sleepy Warrior on here, and it's such a good lat stretch. So I'm going to have the arms reaching forward. I'm going to take that deep inhale here. This is where the breath really can get deep into the lats, kind of like the back of the armpit, down the sides of the body. Oh man, it feels so good. But press the hands down into the floor and keep the heels reaching back. So if I turn this way, I don't want to just hang out here. I want to press those hands into the floor to help push those hips back. And then I can continue to reach the arms out if I need to, but I'm still pushing the hips back on the heels. And I'm breathing here for a little bit. So I'm going to turn back this way. And set this here. Hopefully that'll still be good sound. So it's okay if the back rounds a little bit. We're really opening up space in these outer armpits, especially the breath. Use the rib cage to expand out to the sides. Getting the stretch from the inside out. If you can't get your hips on your heels, you can do the same thing, but sitting in a chair. So you can still have the knees out wide, the feet flat on the floor. And again, use a yoga block or a thick book if you don't have a yoga block. You can do the same thing. So you're kind of raised up the floor. The butt's sitting on the chair, but you raise the hand prop using the block or the hand or the book. So breathing here a little bit. These are your down dog arms as well. So pressing down and reaching and scooping those triceps up. So rolling those upper pits up towards the ceiling and then press into the hands again. Now the Sleepy Warrior part going from side to side, I want to keep my left sit bone on the heel. I'm going to walk the hands over to my right. Personally, what I like to do is I keep my left hand on the floor and I'll take my right hand and pin it down because this is the side I'm going to be stretching. So I like to pin down that left hand so it doesn't scooch anywhere. I'm still reaching the left sit bone down towards its own heel. And again, using that inhale to really breathe into that left side of the body. Oh my gosh, it just feels so amazing. And then keep the reach of the arm on the exhale. So you're building the stretch with each passing inhale and exhale. But again, let the breath do the work for you. And once you get in that first position where there's a gentle stretch, You don't need to push anymore. Just let the breath do the rest of it. And that's what keeps it gentle. That's what helps calms the nervous system. And you still get all the wonderful, wonderful benefit. So yes, this is a stretch, but we are not passively stretching right now. I'm still actively reaching through that arm, my left arm, actively reaching through my left sit bone. I'm focusing on the breath here. Again, doing 3 clear breath cycles. If one wasn't as clean, do another one. Just keep breathing until you get 3 good quality breath cycles in. Since I'm talking, it might actually take me a couple extra breaths. And then once you get your 3, come back to the center. I like to have that little pause here in the center because it feels so weird because you have one side that's stretched out and one side that's not. But it's great information for the nervous system. Once you get that little reset, in about 10 seconds or so, then you're going to walk to the left. Again, I'm putting my right hand down with my left arm. I'm continuing to reach back with that right sit bone towards the right heel. This is my tighter side, typically. Whew. Yeah, definitely feel more on this one. It is normal for them to be different. It's very rare when someone has, at least in my experience as a trainer, it's very rare when someone feels the same on both sides. We typically feel it differently on both sides, either because of an injury or sometimes daily activities. So us ladies, like if we carry one purse on one shoulder versus the other, or if you tend to carry groceries in one hand versus the other, just little things like that just add up over time. But we have those imbalances that just accumulate during life. Nothing wrong with that. You're just living. But this helps even them out a little bit. This side I tend to hang out a little bit longer because it takes a little bit longer to let go. So that's the other thing that's nice about these yoga practices. As you get to know your own body some more and get more familiar with what it needs, you can spend a little bit more time on one side than the other if you need to, until it feels a little bit more even, and then you can progress from there. That's what's so nice about this. Right, for my body, I need to hang out there a little bit longer. If you're following along with me, you may not need to, and that's okay. I'm going to come back to the center. I'm going to reach both arms out again pressing firmly down into the hands and still pushing into the floor, wrapping those triceps in towards the nose so you have elbow pits reaching up towards the ceiling. A little bit more breath here, feels a little bit more even. And then I'm going to walk the hands towards my knees, keeping the head down, and slowly come up. Chin is the last thing to come up. Woo. Work, LOL. You know what? Let me show you the chair version, because you actually might be able to do this. Stand up slowly if you're doing that. So I know this isn't an office chair, but same idea. If you have a spinny chair, you can just turn it around. Like if you have a pretty sturdy desk, you can just turn around and brace it against the back of your desk on the edge. That way you don't like accidentally scooch far away. But same thing. And if you have a yoga block or like a book or something that's sturdy, you just are sitting in the chair. You can have the feet out as wide as you need. I like to scooch back into the chair as much as I can, just at least as a start. And then you have your yoga block here, and it's just the same thing, except your legs aren't folded under you. We can reach the arms forward on the block. I'm still, even though I don't have them fully on the ground, I'm still reaching, spreading my fingers, pressing down into the block and breathing here. And then to go to the sides, again, take the block to the side and adjust as you need. But pin that arm down, you can still do that. Sit bone is still reaching down towards the chair, that opposite side. And then again, you can come back to the center. Ooh, a little adjustment here. And then finally to the other side. Ooh, this side's still a little tighter, a little better than what it was. But to be honest, sometimes I prefer this side versus the floor version. It just kind of depends on the day. And then come back to the center one more time. So that is another option spindle. So even though you are in the office chair. Oh, yeah. My upper body is not very flexible. Like the feeling of it is not, hi, how are you? Yeah, she's saying hi. Give me a kitty. She doesn't like the squat rack very much, so anytime that I'm messing with it, she's like, I'm out, and she leaves. It hasn't done anything bad to her, but I think it's just noisy and she doesn't like it. Hi. So now this is a little calmer. She might hang out a little bit more. How you doing? Plus it's getting warmer outside, so she's getting a little bit more social. Yeah, like no squats. No tricep pull downs. No lat pull downs. Nothing to do with that squat rack at all, huh? Or pulley system. There you go. All right. I'm curious to see what she does on this next part. All right, I'm gonna settle in for a Shavasana. So ladies, this one's really nice, especially if it's the time of your month. Sorry guys that are listening. This might be TMI, but if you have wives, you can learn and then maybe help them out. Because the first time my instructor showed me this one, I fell asleep in probably less than 5 minutes. She's team me. Yes, very much team me, Pookie Cat. All right, so you can use a strap with this version, but what's helpful is if you have like a blanket, and so normalized women's health, yes, exactly, yeah. And guys, you can totally be in on that, and your wives or girlfriends will love you forever. Jared's really good at, like if he knows it's coming up, he will buy me chocolate, which is really nice. But he will also be a little bit more understanding if I'm acting a little crazier, and so he won't, nothing wrong with nap time. Exactly, yes, and I might be taking a nap literally on stream with this, because like this is so comfortable. I'm gonna try not to, but it's so comfy. And guys, honestly, this might help. If you have really tight hips, this might be an option for you too, I'm not gonna lie. Like it's just that relaxing and very supportive while you're still in a little bit of a stretch. Thankfully you don't get a cycle anymore. Yeah. Yeah, especially if like the hormones are way off, like the mood swings are awful. Like I just wanna, crawl out my own skin and not be around me. So I have this long blanket. It's, I don't know how long this is. I don't know, 5-6 feet long, folded in half. Hey, Clem. How's it going? Hi, trainer. We'll catch the rerun. Okay, yeah. I hope you're doing well, Clem. Hope it's been a good evening for you. So this is kind of a follow along thing if you'd like. I don't know if your wife may like this as well, especially this last part. Again, men, honestly, I haven't done this one with a man before yet. So I actually am really curious on how this would go. So Banana, if you're on here too, then let me know how this goes, because I know you practice yoga on a regular basis. So this is kind of the tedious part. I'm just rolling this up. I want to try to make it as tight as I can, because the tighter that it is, the more supportive that it is. If it's a little fluffy, it might be too squishy and not as supportive. So this first part, it just takes a little bit, and then it'll get a little easier as it gets a little thicker. Just getting it started is kind of the big thing. All right. One more time consuming part. I'm probably gonna go a little after 3. I'm just trying to manage my energy today. But this is the easy part. And again, I might fall asleep on stream. If I do, you guys can just click off. Might stay there for like 3 hours. Pookie might crawl in my lap at some point, I don't know. So we're making a little blanket snake. If you don't like snakes, then you're making a really long pillow, is what you're essentially doing, a really long, flexible pillow. Yeah. Glad you're on here. All right, we made it to the end. All right, so this is pretty tight here. And I'm gonna set this gently to the side so I don't lose my roll. Oh, I need another blanket. I need a pillow. All right, so I've got this bolster here. I'm gonna get another blanket. Again, you can use towels too. Definitely have used towels before. Before I got these blankets, I actually used towels. Not too bad. Finally managed to catch you streaming again. Yeah, I was wondering about that if, I didn't know what your schedule was like. I forgot to ask that when we were on the call. All right, so, oh, I'm not on screen. So I have another blanket here. So I'm going to do a trifold. Teaching you all the blanket arts today. Props are your friend when it comes to yoga. Sometimes when you go on those YouTube ones, nothing wrong with that, by the way. I have definitely done that many a time, doing yoga streams on there. But sometimes, like those people have been practicing for years, they have a lot of mobility. Most of my clients are not like that. And so I'm, again, very thankful for the instructor that I had. They called her the prop queen because she was just so good at using props. So for the people that were less mobile and they couldn't get in some of these positions, she was able to support them enough with props where they can still get the same kind of feeling without just like, oh, this is so tight, but they're trying to grit their teeth through it. But that's not helpful for the nervous system. So she was really good at using those props to figure this out. So anyway, you have this blanket here, same kind of blanket as this one, same size. We folded that one out long. This one we folded in half, fold in half again. But again, I'm gonna do a trifold. So I'm just grabbing like the third third part of the blanket here, and then I'll kind of pull it taut a little bit, and I'll lift it up, and then fold it on top of itself. So I have it folded in thirds. So it's like a little bit of a thicker pillow. I'm gonna take the wider folded side and then put that on the top, and that's gonna be my pillow here. All right, so again, I have a bolster. You can again take blankets or even pillows and stack them up as a bolster, whichever you prefer. I'm gonna get another sip of water because my mouth got dry before I dig into this because I'm gonna be out after this. All right, so getting into this position, I'm gonna sit. Are you just waiting for an opportunity to sit on these blankets, Pookie? I think she is. She likes to sit on the bolster sometimes. Hi. So I have the sacrum on the edge of the bolster, at least to start, just so I know where it is. I'm gonna gently lay myself back onto the bolster and onto my blanket. And so I wanna make sure that the blanket is not underneath my shoulders, but it's just underneath my skull. Just my head, just grazes the top of the shoulders here. Now I'm probably a little too high up on the bolster. My rib cage, the end of my rib cage is about right here. That's what I want supported by the bolster. I have too much of my low spine on there. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna prop up again, scooch down just a tiny bit, and gently lower down. So that way my rib cage is supported, but my low back is kind of suspended, but not in a tense way. Because if my sacrum is flat, which we're going to adjust here in a second, when my sacrum is flat here where it meets the pelvis, then it helps kind of support that whole lower back structure. So to help out that, I'm going to lift up the hips into a bridge. I got the toes forward. I'm going to reach to the tops of the thighs, but especially reaching the sit bones towards the back of the knees. So I'm kind of tucking the tailbone a little bit here. I can make any adjustments, so I felt like I need to scooch a little bit, adjust the blanket. This first part here, you're just making all the adjustments because you want to be super cozy with this. Also, I should take a rope snake. I just realized that. I'm going to wrap it around so it's at the ready. So I just have a rope snake. I have it in front of the ankles here, and then the two ends to the side. There we go. Now I'm going to sit back on the bolster. So I'm going to find my rib cage again. Just the bottom part of the ribs on the bolster. Gently lay back. Scooch, scooch, juice, scooch. Adjust, adjust, adjust. So I'm going to scooch up just a smidge more. And then I'm going to lift up into that bridge. Once scooched all, I'm going to scooch. Reach to the top of the knees, especially sit bones to the back of the knees. I'm going to stay here for a little bit. Shoulder blades pinch together slightly. I can even reach the arms out, spin the shoulder blades back and the upper arms back to help open up the chest. As I lower down, I'm continue to scoop the sit bones in towards the back of the knees as I roll down vertebrae by vertebrae. Still scooping so that way that sacrum is nice and flat to the floor. If you feel like you are not comfortable, do it all again until you are comfortable. Like that is a-okay to make all those adjustments. I've had to do that before. I did all the work and I sat down and was like, nope, that's not right. I had to do it all over again, but it is so worth it when you get there. Once you are here, this is where I'm going to take my rope snake. I'm going to kind of bend it a little bit. I'm going to grab onto it and I'm going to pull the heels in as much as I can. And I already still have this little bend here. That's going to come in play in a second. So I'm pulling those heels in. The knees are close together. I'm gonna widen the knees out to the side. And so now, I need to pull my pants up a little bit, so a little space in the knees. So I'm going back to that bound ankle pose where my feet, the soles of my feet are together, so they're not like smashed together. Soles of my feet are together, knees are out wide. They're kind of supported by the blanket already. And then I can just take the rest of that blanket, tuck it under a little bit more for some more support. I don't have my blocks nearby. If my knees don't go out this wide, if you're not that flexible and they're kind of hanging out here, that's where you fill in the space. So that's where these other props come into play. You can take a block and kind of stuff them on either side of the knees. That way they're supported by the block and hanging out, and they get to release. Otherwise, you just got to hang out here. The blanket, because you pull it in, it's kind of cinched in nice and tight. The weight of the legs helps hold it down so it doesn't slide out from you. And it stays in that spot. Again, make any other micro adjustments that you need to make. Again, that you're nice and cozy. I'm turning the palms face up. Another little spin. Ideally, the lights would be off at this point as well, or at least dim through the whole time. And I'll let my elbows rest. If the elbows are kind of suspended, same thing, because everybody's bodies are a little bit different. Sometimes if that's hanging in space and that doesn't feel good, you could put more blankets there, just stuff more blankets there. And then once you have all that set, you're just gonna flop and just breathe. And this is the part where I might fall asleep, but I'm gonna try not to. I'm gonna talk you guys through this a little bit. So you can use this as a Shavasana, to lay down and do nothing at the end of your practice and just chill out. Again, this is a great hip opener. So those groin muscles, again, are getting stretched out here, but they have the support of the blankets or the blocks, whatever you're using. So that way you're getting the passive stretch. This is where it's totally passive. I'm not actively reaching through anything. I'm just sitting nice and easy. This is more restorative yoga, where you do all the work to put yourself in the position. Once you're there, you just let everything hang and just let everything sink down with a touch of gravity, which is fantastic. And so being up on the bolster like this as well, if you have like rounded, tight shoulders, this helps open that up as well. And again, gravity is helping you out here. Gravity is your friend with this stuff, because it's gently pulling my shoulders back, which is helping stretch out those pec muscles, pec major and minor, that pesky little minor as well. And especially with the arms low like this, that'll hit the minor more than the major. And then, yeah, you're just chilling out. And the back of the head rests. So I'm going to adjust this to the side because I know I'm on just a little wrinkle of that blanket. And I'm like, oh, that's so much better. I'm like the princess and the pea with this stuff sometimes. And you're just going to breathe. So with the bolster, the rib cage up on the bolster like this, it helps expand that chest, open up the diaphragm a little bit more. So you can get those much deeper breaths. And then even though the low spine isn't directly in contact with everything, it still feels so supported if you set yourself upright. It should not feel aggravated or agitated or anything. You should feel very calm. If it is agitated or aggravated, don't think you have to sit with it. Make the adjustments. Even if you have to put everything back again and start all over again, it is worth it when you get it set for sure. So allowing my eyes to fall into their sockets with that touch of gravity. And I'm gonna, once I stop talking, if you're just following my voice and you're following along, you can allow the base of the tongue to release from the roof of the mouth. So you're not sticking the tongue to the roof of the mouth. It's very tense, just let it go. With that, you can soften the ears and the jaw and allow the jaw to go slack. You can release the base of the skull and the support of its blanket, and release down the back of the neck to the backs of the shoulders. And from the ears down the sides of the neck to the tops of the shoulders. And underneath the chin, down the front of the neck to the collarbones. Allowing all the muscles of the neck to loosen and unravel and fall to the floor. And also you can release down the back body. So we have a little bit more emphasis on the back of the rib cage with the bolster. So you can feel the inhales gently press the back of the rib cage into the bolster. As you're breathing into the belly, you may feel the chest expand as well. but exhale, allowing the base of, or the back of the ribs, excuse me, to soften into the bolster, allowing the shoulders, the front of the shoulders to release down the sides of the bolster, allowing the abdomen and the organs to soften towards the spine with that touch of gravity. It's on a slight slope, so you may feel the emphasis of gravity a little bit better versus being completely flat on the floor. But allowing it to just soften with that touch of gravity, and you'll feel that effect the most on the exhales. Even allowing the pelvis to soften. Again, and with this position with the knees wide, we could feel the release of the groins, the adductor muscles, the groin muscles, so that they can soften down towards the floor. You can allow the buttocks and the outer thigh to soften into the support of the blanket as you soften the tops of the thighs and the back of the thighs, softening the knees and the shin bones, the calf muscles, the ankles. Feeling the release of the soles, the feet. Again, releasing down through the shoulders, allowing them to relax on either side of the bolster and allowing the upper arms to soften down towards the floor. Even though they're suspended in the air, they still get to allow themselves to float and relax. Allowing the elbows to soften, allowing the forearms to loosen and unravel and fall to the floor, as well as the wrists. Feeling the back of the hands heavy into the floor as you soften the palms, the fingers, and the thumbs all the way to the thumb tips and the fingertips. Just allowing the body to breathe. Let the breaths come and go. But especially on those exhales, allowing the body to sink with that wonderful touch of gravity to the floor. So I'm going to be silent here just for a little bit, and I'm just going to breathe a little bit. Just come and go. So sorry if it's a little boring. I just kind of enjoy my own little Shavasana here for a moment. And then I'll talk you guys through how to come out of this as well. If I fall asleep again, I apologize in advance. It just feels so nice. And as I come out of the Shavasana, if you are coming out of the Shavasana, you can reach down towards the thighs as best as you can. Again, arm lengths vary from person to person. But you want to see if you can get your upper leg here and gently bring the knees close together with as much of the arm strength as possible. And then you can widen the feet as much as you need. And then you can take the rope away. You can do like a Shavasana part 2 from here if you would like. So you have the sacrum still flat on the floor, and you're going to reach the heels, stretch the legs out, reach through the arms again. That's another little nice adjustment. Sometimes you get a nice little pull in the base of the skull as well. And then after you get that reach, then you can flop again and have like a Shavasana part 2. And that'll open up some other things as well. Again, if the back can tolerate this, this actually feels amazing right here. But then you can walk through again, the eyes softening into their sockets, release the base of the tongue from the roof of the mouth, softening the ears and the jaw, allowing the jaw to go slack. Those seem like little things, those facial features, but if you can soften the facial features, the rest of the body tends to follow. So when in doubt, if you find that your mind has just wandered off, very common for that to happen, that's part of the Shavasana as well, is just redirecting the mind back to a one-pointed focus, which is usually the breath or the sensations of the body with a touch of gravity, or both. But you're redirecting the mind back to one point. You are not emptying the mind. That is not correct, because that's next to impossible. And so the mind is collecting information constantly. And so another part of the Shavasana is just the withdrawal of the senses that they say. So it's more like you're registering that you're hearing things, you're smelling things, you may see things, you may touch things, have the sensations of touch, but you're not letting that distract you. You notice it, but then you redirect it back to one thing. Again, usually breath is the focus, or the sensation of the body, because that's with you wherever you go. There's also other ways you can use this, like using imagery is sometimes helpful. That's where the kind of the flowery stuff comes back into play, but it can be helpful, especially those that think too much. If you lead them through like a scene, that's their mind is capturing onto that, and you use your imagination as well, and that can be very calming. And even though they're watching a scene unfold by hopefully someone directing them well, their body's relaxing as a result. There's another version where you can just take a quote, a piece of scripture, something like that, and just meditate on that. Just say it over and over and over into your head. That is honestly how my business was birthed. It was during a Shavasana, and I was repeating 2 Timothy, 1:7. As for God has not given you a spirit of fear, but of power, of love, and a sound mind. So I was repeating that over and over, letting that truth just sink into me. And I started crying during Shavasana. But that was kind of where the business birthed out of, was that particular experience. And then, of course, there's the version where you just focus on the breath, which is nice. And it's really nice if you have a guide helping you with that, so that way your mind also stays a little bit more focused with that. I know I'm talking a lot during Shavasana. This is not normal. I'm just giving you guys some context if you decide to do this on your own. And also, I'm just kind of stalling because this does feel really amazing. But to come out of this position, even after you've stretched the legs out, you can again bend the knees, or if you've already taken the rope snake out of the side, you can bend the knees. I'm going to gently shift my hips towards the left. I'm going to roll onto the right side. There's a little bit of a drop off here, so just be ready for that. And I'll put my hands under my head like a pillow, and I can pause here for a moment, which is really nice, especially if you've been sitting there for a while. After I get that cleansing breath where it's like a heave like a sigh, like I said, that just happened for me. That's usually when I maybe do one more breath cycle and gently lift up, and then find a seated position. If you have that bolster, you can pull it over, or the blocks. And you can sit on that block again and just kind of pause and breathe here for a moment. And with my clients, this is usually where I leave them with a prayer, and they can go on their way. So if you guys don't mind, I'm going to end with that. So this is a prayer adapted from 3 John, verse 2, Lord, I pray that all of these people that are watching right now and later, Lord, I pray that they prosper in all things and be in health, just as their souls prosper is in you, Lord. In Jesus' name I pray. Amen. So there we go. So that would be the end of the process. Sometimes in yoga they say, hey, welcome back. Thanks, Clem. That's what it feels like. Like you just kind of come out and you're like, whoa. It's really nice. Like the namaste, like at the end. Just like something to kind of cap it off well. Just saying like, this is the end of practice. Also setting the intention when you stand up. Like it's a nice closing versus just rolling to your side, come up, and then walk on your way. Like it's nice to have just something that'll center you as you walk back into your day.